You're watching Marketing Matters with Colin Carasquillo, exclusively on CBT News.
Hey there, Colin Carasquillo here, host of Marketing Matters and Digital Marketing Director at the Nielsen Automotive Group. Marketing Matters brought to you by CBT News. Hello, automotive world. We're back with another segment here, and today we're talking about the importance of auditing and monitoring your dealership website. This episode, out of sight, out of mind. Now, don't fall into a trap here, right? Just because your website is up and running and yes, your inventory is out there and the information's correct, don't just assume that everything is all honky-dory. I will tell you, in recent days and some personal experience, things on your website can go wrong all the time. It's technology. It's great when it works, but when it doesn't, it's not so great anymore. So ultimately, out of sight, out of mind is about a couple things. It's about making your website as easy to use as possible. I call it grandma-proofing your website. Ensure that if you asked your grandma, hey, can you go to X, Y, and Z, find this vehicle, build out these payments, that they'd be able to do it. They can do it in the simplest amount of steps possible. Because if your grandma can do it, and she didn't have any problems, then I guarantee you, really, everyone else would be able to easily navigate your website. So that's the first step here, right? When you're looking at your websites. Out of sight, out of mind. I have a website, it exists. I have call to actions on it. Perhaps it's see this offer, or is this vehicle available, or request more information. What is that really doing for you though? If you're looking at conversions from those buttons, are those helping you? Are you getting a higher conversion rate from a specific button over others? Are people engaging with specific tools over others? And as you start finding that out, and I guarantee it will be different for other people and other dealerships in respective markets, but as you start finding those things out, it enables you to dial in what you truly are looking for on the website, which is creating a funnel, if you will. Let's call it the pincer maneuver, where you are ultimately getting individuals onto your website and you want them to convert. So the simpler, the better, I would think. You look at some massive, massive companies that we try to emulate. You look at Google, right? Now, Google's a search engine. Actually, on some websites, they've started emulating that. A massive search feature on the website. It's the first thing that a consumer sees. And it's responsive, it's universal search. So you can just start typing in, 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and boom, it's gonna start populating all of the inventory you have available, or any pages built out to the Jeep Grand Cherokee, so on and so forth. Same thing with servicing, service my vehicle, or Jeep service, boom, the service schedule will start populating. Well, why? Why did those web providers do that? Well, it's because they said, hold on a second, Google's doing something here. They're pretty good at this, right? They're a great search engine, and consumers are used to how Google works. So let's emulate that on our website. So they did. So now you have a lot of websites that offer universal search. You also have a lot of websites who started emulating another massive corporation, Amazon. Now Amazon's getting into the automotive space with a partnership with Hyundai. I can only imagine, or begin to imagine, what that relationship will look like and how efficient the car buying process will become, especially when you're using a site like Amazon to purchase a vehicle. I don't think that's something that we should be afraid of either. I think we need to embrace that and say, okay, how do we mirror, leverage everything that's happening, right? Because that's going to change consumer behavior and perception, so on and so forth, and make our dealership websites on a tier 3 level as good, if not better than that. So ultimately, we try to emulate these big companies. Now, what that does, though, is it does leave some pitfalls for us, right? We say, okay, my website is live. It's emulating these big companies. There can't be anything wrong on my website. Out of sight, out of mind. That's why this episode is called what it is. You just let the day-to-day operations go. And the problem is, you end up getting a call from an angry general sales manager or your GM or your dealer principal, and they say, why can't I access this vehicle? Why does it go to this 404 page? Why does this pop open and there's no way to close it? I'm on my mobile device. I can't see anything because all of these widgets are exploding all over the place. They're going everywhere. It's slowing down the website. It's slowing down the consumer experience. It's really slowing down the opportunity or the road to the sale. It's not doing yourself a service at all. You're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. So fact of the matter is this: don't let your website be out of sight, out of mind. You need to once again be on there and auditing your website regularly. Now, what does that look like? Call all of the phone numbers that are on your website. Please, please. We had an instance at the Nielsen Automotive Group, and shame on me for saying it, sorry, but ultimately we had an instance at the Automotive Group where on the back end of one of our website providers, all the information was correct. It was the correct phone number. However, when you called that phone number, it went to a line that didn't pick up. It went to a private voicemail. And I'm thinking to myself, how is that possible? It's the actual phone number from the dealership. Like, that's it. I typed it. Well, turns out I made a mistake, right? And it happens. But own up to the mistakes, fix them, and move on. I fat-fingered a space in the phone number. So now the call's not connecting. Well, once again, how many people tried calling in to the dealership and they didn't connect anywhere because of a mistake? Now, ultimately, it's okay to make mistakes. The idea is you need to mitigate the opportunities for mistakes as well as how many mistakes you make. We're only human. However, with that, I implore you, call those phone numbers. If you have call tracking numbers for sales, service, and parts, perhaps an extra call tracking number for your finance department, or maybe you have a fleet operation that has a call tracking number, call those numbers. Ensure that they are routing correctly, because also when you have specific manufacturers, they opt you into call tracking numbers as well, and now you have call tracking number on top of call tracking number, and there's opportunities for those calls to not connect, to be dropped, and that ultimately is impacting your business. It's also impacting the customer experience, right? If I, as a consumer, want to contact a business and I have clicked a call and it doesn't go through, how many times do you think you're going to really, as a consumer, try to call the business? Maybe twice, right? Okay, went through once, it was weird, so let me try again. Maybe I did something wrong. But what is it? It's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So ultimately, if you do it twice, that's enough for that consumer to say, I'm out of here, right? They're going to say, ain't nobody got time for that. So ultimately, they will choose to do business with another dealership, another operation, and then boom, they're gone. You just missed out on them. So ensure that your call tracking, all of that, those numbers connect. Ensure that they're easily accessible for a consumer. Ensure that all of these widgets aren't popping up, right? You have a lot of providers out there with fantastic, fantastic technology. Now, these widgets are actually so you can track the consumer journey and get more engagement and then remarket those people utilizing or leveraging their additional products that they offer. However, you have to say, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, you know, if you go on the website and I've already navigated to a specific vehicle that I was looking at, yet I couldn't do anything because your widget popped open and then I couldn't shut it down, and then this test drive offer popped open and I couldn't exit out of that, you're not going to get what you're looking for, which is the engagement or the conversion. You're going to get a person that's going to say X out of here, and then you get nothing. You lose. That's right. And good day, sir. So that's what happens. You get nothing, you lose, and good day, sir, because that individual will be doing just that on your website. So ultimately, ensure one, you're having tracking phone numbers. You are checking those weekly. Please check those weekly. Please ensure that your website is grandma proof, ensuring that all of these widgets and pop-ups and buttons are not activating. It's not true that the more widgets you have, the more engagement you get. No, it just provides a muddied customer experience causing frustration, and ultimately that person will abandon your dealership. You also need to ensure that pages on your website are up to date, right? That there's also no 404 errors. If you have a blog post built out about a specific vehicle, well, it's good and well. It will still continue operating in perpetuity for SEO purposes. But if it's linked in your navigation, and now we're on 25 model year Ram trucks, why do you still have a 2020 model year Ram page on your website that people can access? Doesn't make sense to me, but I guarantee you there are dealers out there that have just that. Having it in the navigation is not going to impact your SEO. If you're afraid that, oh, if I remove it from navigation, it's going to ruin my SEO. No, that page is still indexed, right? So if someone just decided, I don't know, because to search 2020 Ram 1500, your page could pop up. It's still accessible, but there's no reason for it to be under your new inventory, especially when it's that old. Now, yes, you might have some aged 2023 units. I know we still have some of those. That page, probably still reasonable to have up there. But ultimately, nothing older than the model year that's on the ground for new vehicles, okay? So ultimately, you need to be going through those websites. You need to be doing the audits. You need to call your tracking numbers. You need to make sure your forms, there's no widgets, these things popping open, really going to muddy the customer experience, that there's no outdated information or pages, that there's no 404 errors because links have been broken over time. And then also, and as simple as it may be, it's really often out of sight, out of mind, ensure that your lead routing is set up correctly. Now, this is a really good one that I do want to focus on because, once again, I've fallen victim to some of these things. I have a specific vendor partner, website provider that we work with over at the Nielsen Automotive Group. And ultimately, I will say, okay, I want to change the call to action, right? So the button that a person can click to convert to XYZ. Let's say it's check availability. Well, shame on me, but now I know this and I want to educate you all with this. Depending on the form or verbiage that you're actually attaching to that button, lead routing might not be set up on that specific form or button. Now, you're thinking to yourself, how's that possible, Colin? Well, I don't know, but I'm telling you, it happened to me. I changed CTAs on the website. Next thing you know, leads fall off. Why? What happened? Is there really not that much activity around this specific make or model of vehicle? No, it's because the leads would be coming in and they'd be sitting in the back end of the website's provider dashboard, but they weren't making it over to our CRM. So it's exceptionally important that you're constantly checking these things. You're ensuring your website is grandma proof. You're ensuring that there's up-to-date information. You're ensuring that the connections with your call tracking and your lead routing is sound, because they can go haywire at any given notice in time. And now, yes, it's a big pain in the butt, and once again, ain't nobody got time for that, but we do need to make time. We need to make time for it because ultimately that is how our consumers are finding our businesses. That is how our consumers are choosing who they ultimately want to do business with. And that is how we will succeed moving forward, especially in this hyper-competitive market that has become inherently more digital and will continue to do so. Thank you very much. This is another episode of Marketing Matters. I'm your host, Colin Carasquillo. As always, it is a pleasure. I hope that was very informative. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns. Let me know if any of this is helpful for you. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching Marketing Matters with Colin Carasquillo, exclusively on CBT News.